Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of What's This Wednesday, and this Wednesday we have Star Vikings. Now, the best thing about this game is probably its main theme. It is straight out of the late 80s, early 90s cartoon theme song, and I'm just gonna let you listen to it here for a few seconds so you can kind of get a grip on how this game's sort of gonna feel if you play it. And I love that theme song so much. It fits this game kind of perfectly. It's got that weird, goofy aesthetic, right? Oh, it's just, the writing in this game definitely matches the theme song. So if you're wondering what kind of tone this game sets, the theme song tells you immediately. But in terms of gameplay, I'm going to try and keep this What's This Wednesday a little bit shorter than I usually do. And by a little bit, I mean probably much shorter, rather than my 30 to 40 minute videos I usually do. Because there's not a lot to say about Star Vikings, because it really does speak for itself. If you've played games like Plants vs. Zombies, you'll kind of get a pretty decent grasp on what's happening here with Star Vikings. Now in Star Vikings, your Vikings start from the left side of the screen, and you must progress them through to the right side of the screen while fighting off snails and other bad guys. Now, the trouble here is that if you get in range of a bad guy and it can attack back, you'll hit it for 1 heart, and it will hit you back for 1 heart as long as it's alive. So you have to manage your abilities in order to clear the way so the Vikings will make it to the next screen. Because sometimes you'll have to defeat a certain amount of enemies, or make it a certain amount of screens, and you don't always get a chance to heal. Now there are items you can pick up or purchase at the shops that'll give you like healing vials and things, and you can even level up your Vikings to give them extra health or extra damage or even extra ability points, and have them do extra things. But you really need to manage your resources here, and one thing that I forgot to do while playing this game was that I can set the Vikings on the left in any order I want. All I have to do is just rearrange my party. Now, the footage you'll see only has 2 Vikings, but I did get up to 4 Vikings off screen while I was playing this in my own time, because it is quite fun. And I'll mention Plants vs. Zombies again, but it has that Plants vs. Zombies vibe. You know, you progress through the track. Your Vikings don't progress unless you tell them to. So your Vikings will move when you tell them to. They don't move automatically, so it's not a timed thing. You can plan out your shots and mix and match, but you've got different types of Vikings. Your big, beefy Viking is going to be a dude who pushes things around. He's a tank. He's meant to take a few hits. If you skill him up in a few different areas, he can actually shrug off hits. He'll just be armored, so if a snail tries to hit him, he'll just be like, no, armor takes that damage, so he won't take any health damage. And the world is kind of set up like the old school Mario Bros. 3 style, where you go from little blip to blip on the world map, unlocking other things as you go along. And the more you unlock, the more secrets you can unlock, and the more characters you can unlock later on. And as with many games, gold is a primary currency here. And I'm not talking about primary currency like premium currency. I'm just saying you defeat enemies, you collect gold on the maps, and then you use that gold to purchase new Vikings. Now, you don't have to use the Vikings that you start with. You can buy new Vikings and swap them out of your party at any time, but you'll have to level them up as well, and thus level up their skills. And the way you level Vikings up is the more useful they are in the battles, the more experience they will gain. So the more a Viking defeats more snails or more enemies, the more experience they will get. So if you want to sort of set up certain Vikings for combos in order to achieve them extra bonus experience, you can do that. There's nothing stopping you from spamming getting one hero, or one Viking I should say, up to a huge level. But it is going to suffer a little bit from you because you need the team to work together. Because if one of your Vikings starts getting a little too low and you don't have enough Vikings to overcome certain challenges, you're not going to be able to beat the levels. Now, that's not too hugely prevalent, but it just makes it a lot more difficult because the levels, I do believe, are randomized. So the places where the snails are dropped isn't going to be the same places the next time you retry it. So you're going to have to use your wits and find out what kind of chain reactions you can do. Now, there are different types of snails. There are just basic snails that won't attack back because they're puny. There are snails that will attack back. There are snails that will attack back twice. And there are snails that will attack everything in every adjacent square. So, you know, the square above them, below them, and both squares beside them, not diagonally. So you can use that to your advantage because one of your Vikings that you start out with has a long-range, like, cannon shot. essentially. It's a laser shot that he shoots in an arc, and it hits one of the snails. Now, if that hits a snail in the back, and that snail attacks the snail in front of it, that snail who just got attacked will then attack the next snail in front of it. So you can kind of create this amazing chain reaction of whittling down the enemy's HP by using its own formations against them. One of the big combos is if you get some of the, like, mushroom cloud shooting snails. What will happen is if you hit the one, and it'll shoot it in 4 directions, and if it hits another one of those spore guys, it will shoot it in 4 directions, which will then hit the next one, and it will shoot it in 4 directions, but it will also hit the one that previously hit it, so it will keep chaining, and you'll most likely kill 2 or 3 of them in the go, and leave the last 2 alive, but they'll be at very low health. So there's a lot of cool chain reaction maneuvers you can do, and there's certain levels which need you to get certain chain reaction requirements before progressing. And it's just, overall, a very simple, cute game. I believe I got it on chrono.gg, where I get most of these What's This Wednesdays games, because I love that website, man. I love how many cool, free indie games I get to try out because of it. So that's 2 of my recommendations for today is go pick up Star Vikings if it's cheap enough. I would say don't spend more than $5 on this. You know, it's a good game. It's a nice little fun game to have in your back pocket for whenever you just want to have like a cute little puzzler that has a little bit of decent comedy. You know, it's got that Viking theme, so you've got a computer named Odin, O-D-I-N, and, you know, there's just a bunch of different Vikings you can have. You've got a shooter Viking, a tank Viking, a Viking that heals if it's next to other Vikings who've taken damage, a Valkyrie, and so... yeah, it's just a fun, great little time, especially if you want to scratch that Plants vs. Zombies itch, but you don't want to have a clone of the game. This sort of gives you that perspective of, what if I was attacking the plants in Plants vs. Zombies, which I do believe was a mode in Plants vs. Zombies. They eventually made that. So that's pretty cool. But that's all I really need to say about Star Vikings. The rest of it is just, you know, repetitive puzzle gameplay. So if you don't like repetitive puzzle gameplay, you're probably not going to like this game. But I like that. I think it's fun. And so that's why I'm recommending it and doing this episode for you all today. And like I said, of course, this episode was going to be very short. Look at that. We're probably not even past 10 minutes right now. But I will be back on another Random Wednesday with another random game here on What's This? Take care, everybody.